Hello everyone and welcome to this Power BI tutorial part 2. If you haven't watched part 1 video, I'm going to have a link in the description. You should go and watch it as this part 2 video is a continuation of part 1. Right, so where did we leave part 1? We've created our main summary table, and what we said in the previous video is that now we have to create a graph where we can visualize this data. So to do this, I'm just going to select the table, Control and C, which is copy the table, and Control and V to paste the table. So now I have two tables, the same thing. And look how easy Power BI made this. So I can just change this matrix now to be, I want to have a combo table. So this is the table I want. And now you can see straight away it changed the data to be visualized as a bar chart. The next thing I want to do is to remove the revenue versus target percentage, the totals, the target. Oh, actually, I do need the target. I need to undo, so Control Z. So it brings the targets back. I want to move the targets into lines because always when you have targets, it's better to have it as a line just to see if you're hitting the target. I also want to remove the empty column and the total revenue. Right. So now we can visualize if we are meeting the targets or not. Let me just make this smaller. So I'm going to push this a bit down. I'm going to push this a bit down too. There we go. I want to change the coloring now to be more nicely appealing to the eye. So the way to do this is go to formats, and then here I have the data colors. I want to make the target to be red. Always try and keep targets as red. Revenue, I want to leave it as dark green. So this is the revenue that has actually landed. The registration fee, because it's so small, I want to select a color that is very strong, like purple, dark purple. The partner fee, the same, is very small. So I need to select a strong color like yellow. The baseline, I want to make the baseline to be a light green because baseline is basically a continuation of the last month's revenue, as you can see. So it's kind of very related to revenue. So I want to keep the color consistent. And future opportunities, I want to make this as light orange, and then future opportunities into run rate, I want to make this as dark orange. The reason they're the same color orange is because they're the same thing, but one of them is the total value and the other one is what going to recur, so it's what's going to go into run rate. I also want to go back to the fields, and I want to change the order of these two because it's easier to visualize the red, which is the target, on top of the light orange versus the dark orange. Now it's easier for the eye to check if we are meeting targets and by how much. The next thing we want to do is we want to go to format again, and we want to go down to the legends, and we want to position them into the bottom center. So you can see the legends now are down here. And we also want to increase the text size as much as we can, so it's easier for us to read the legends. We also want to scroll down to the title. So now you can see, because I copied and pasted, it kept the same title as our table, but this one is actually going to be the, let's say, fiscal year 21 revenue versus target. Revenue plus opportunities, actually. Revenue, where am I? Plus ops versus target. Because we do add the baseline and the opportunities for the months to come, so for the future. I want to move this a bit down now because I want to make space for a title, which is the next thing we will do. So we go a bit more down. So now we have enough space. So now we want to create a title, and we want to add our slices here. So let's say we want to slice the whole data by segment, for example. We need to have a slicer where we select the segment and then the whole dashboard changes. But I'm going to start with the title. So the first thing we want to do is to go to home, and we want to insert a shape, which is basically a line. I want to go to the rotation of the line, and I want to make it 90 degrees. So it's a vertical line. And then I want to make it smaller. And I'm going to add it over here. There we go. Now I need to add a text box, which is basically going to be our titles, which is overall 4 months summary. I want to make this as large as possible. So let's see, I want to move it at the top. I want to make it smaller, and I want to make it's too big. I need to change the writing, the size of the writing. Let me see here, and make this one maybe 36. No, even smaller. Or actually, it's fine. Overall performance summary. There we go. I want to make this bold and maybe italic. Overall performance summary. What we're missing now is that we want to add a logo. So you don't have to add the same logo as me, but it's always nice to have a logo here of the company you're working for. So I'm going to add an image. I click on image, and then my logo is saved over here. So you can select any logo you want, but this is the logo of my YouTube channel. I'm just going to add it here at the top. There we go. So now we have a title, and then we have a logo. The title, I think it needs to be slightly smaller. So maybe 32. Yeah, that's much nicer. And this one maybe a bit down, so we have a bit more space. This one a bit down, we have a bit more space. Right, one thing I forgot is that we want to make this red line as a dotted line. So again, we click on this bar chart, and then we go into format, and then we go down to shapes, and then we can change our line style to be dotted. So now you can see it's a dotted line. Right, the next thing we want to do is to add the slicers now. So to add the slicer, there are multiple ways of doing it. One way is that I can just drag segment. I'm going to start with segment over here, and then it creates the slicer itself where we can slice and dice the data. Another way is to let me just delete this. I can add this, where is it? Slicer here, slicer, click on it, and then manually drag the segment into the fields. So you can see now it did basically the same thing. Right, I'm just going to leave segment over here because I want to use segment. However, I want to have it as a drop-down slicer. So what I can do is I can click here and then make it a drop-down. So now you can see it's a drop-down menu. Using drop-downs is much easier, and because you can fit more slices in one page, they don't take as much space. However, if there is a slicer, you want it to be visual, you want to know what you have selected, for example, years, you can leave it as a list and not a drop-down menu. What I want to do with segment now, I want to go into format, and I want to add a title and remove the slicer header. And the title is going to be segment. There we go. I want the font color to be dark. Background color I want it to be aligned in center, and I want the text size to be 12. I also want to add a border. So down here on borders, I want to click it on, and I want to add the light green that we have on everything else. There we go. Now it's nice and pretty. Now I'm just going to select this slicer, click Ctrl and C to copy it and paste it twice so I can add them next to each other. So I can just add them next to each other. I can make sure it's aligned with the table and make sure it's aligned with the overall graph. If you want to keep them exactly the same size, you can select all of them by pressing Ctrl down, and then going here on the format, and then general, and then adding a manual width to all of them. So a specific width in all of them, so you know they're exactly the same size. And if you want to align them horizontally, you can go to format, align on top, so you know they are aligned, everything is aligned on top, and distribute horizontally, so they're aligned horizontally, which means they have the same space in between. Now I want to add here I want to have the industry, and here the vertical. So I just click on the slicer, and then I drag industry on top of segment, and then I do the same for this one. I drag vertical on top of segment, and now I have to change the titles because you can see we have segment, segment, segment. So this is industry. No, actually this is vertical. Sorry, I got confused. So this is vertical, and then this is the industry. Then if we select the drop down, we can see it's different than this one, and same with the vertical. Now I'm going to select all of them again by pressing Ctrl down. I copy them, and then I paste them below. So I want to have another set of slicers and make sure it's aligned correctly and nicely. This one I want it to be the account name, so I dragged account name, so now we can actually see the account names. This one I want it to be the product category, so product category. And then this one, I want it to be the potential account. So a yes and no, I think true or false. So I'm going to change the titles again. So this is the account name. This is the product category. What happened? I select it, I go over here, product category, and then this one is going to be the potential account. Right, so now we've created our slicers. Let's test if they work. So we select one account here. You can see everything changes, so it works fine. So now account managers or segment managers or industry managers or anyone that wants to slice and dice the data in a specific way, they can come over here, select their account or their category or their vertical, and then everything is going to change. A quick way is that if you want to make the slicers searchable, so you actually want to search for an account, you can click here on the three dots and add the search. So now if I slice it down, I can actually type in here what I want to search. So this account, for example. Right, let me just remove this. The next thing we want to do now is that we want to create this GOG here. I don't know how to pronounce it. If I pronounced it wrong, I'm sorry. Which what it does is going to be basically a one-off visual that shows us if we meet the targets or not. So we can get this information from down here, so we know we're going to finish the year on the totals 5% ahead of target, but there is nothing to visualize the whole thing overall, which is why we're going to create this visual. I'm not going to say the name again because I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. So I just click on it, I add it here, and then I want to add the value, which is going to be the total revenue. So this total revenue down here, you see it, 425, 422. Why is it different? Actually, it's different because we don't have the fiscal year here. Okay, we need to add where is fiscal year on the filters? Filters on the page, right? So I should have added the filter before. I've added it before on this one, but I've actually added it on the visual, so only on the table. I should have done it for the whole page. So now I've done it for the whole page. So you can see the filter now is filtered on this whole page. Sorry for the hand. Right, so we hide this now, so we can see 276 million, 27.9, which is 276 million. The next thing we want to add is we want to add the target value, which is going to be our targets. So you can see now that we are meeting targets by slightly or like slightly more, which is that 5%. So now we want to make this look nice and pretty. So we're going to go through the options we have. We're going to start with the the data colors. We want to make the target red. Remember, always make it red. We want the data labels on, correct. We want to make them black, so you can see now they turn black. We want to make them a bit larger, so it's easier to read. We want the target to be red, so we select the red. You can see it turn red, and we want to make it again a bit larger, so we can easily read it. We want the title to be on, and this is going to be the total revenue versus target, and we want this to be black, and we want the background to be bluey, and then we want it to be in the middle, and then we want 12. So I'm keeping this, I'm staying consistent. So as you can see in all three different visuals I have the same backgrounds and colors, and then the sizes. Actually the size is 14, so right. The next thing we want to do is that we want to add a border, which is going to be again our greeny border we always add, and there we go. This is done too. So see how nice and clean and consolidated this table is right now, this whole dashboard, not just the table. Let's test if it works. So if I select banking, you can see it readjusts, it readjusts straight away to banking, and everything else readjusts straight away. By the way, if you feel that you're getting enough value out of this video, please click that like button and subscribe to my channel. Right, the next thing we're going to do now is that we're going to create some additional breakdowns. So I'm going to do a breakdown for segment and a breakdown for product. We can actually do a lot more breakdowns, but for the sake of this video, I'm only going to do 2 more. So I want to create a table now. It's not going to be a pivot table or a matrix. So I just want to click on the table. It's going to be a simple table down here, where I'm going to show the segment summary. So I'm going to make it a bit smaller. I'm going to drag segment into values. Where my segment? Here. And then I want to show the total, so the total revenue. I want to show the target, and then I want to show the difference, the dollar difference, and then the percentage difference. Is that segment summary? Why is it only on those three? Oh, because I have banking selected. There we go. I was missing segments and I was wondering why. Right. So now I need to make this table to be looking like this table. So how do we do that? I've shown you how to do it. We have to go into formats. We want to change the style into minimal straight away. We want to make the column headers size to be 12 or maybe 10. Let's see how much we need. I think that's okay. 11 or maybe even 10. We want the alignment to be in the center. We want to do the same for values. We want to increase the size of values. There we go. You can see it's taking more space, but it's good because it's easier for us to visualize things now. Maybe I can even use the whole space. So I expand this a bit, I expand this a bit. There we go. I also want to add, totals is fine. I want to add the title, which is going to be the segment summary. I also want to change the font to be black, and then the background to be this bluey. We've done this already so many times, and this should be 14. Almost 14. There we go. So this is now nice. We are only missing the border, so I click on border and we add the light green that we have. There we go. So now we have a segment summary. We can actually see by segment which segments are missing the targets and which segments are hitting the targets by the end of the year. What we can do is that we can conditional format again the revenue versus target, percentage and dollar amount, so it's easier for the eye to pick up what's red and what's green. So to do this, we go to format, we go to conditional formatting, we select the dollar amount, and we add the background color, which we've done. Actually, no, let's not do background color. It's going to be too much. Let's show the font color. So now, if it's positive, it's going to be green. If it's negative, it's going to be red. So straight away, we can see that public sector is the only segment that is not going to hit targets. So the company now can investigate why public sector is not meeting targets. So if we actually click on public sector, we can see that it's not going to meet the targets in any month. So there's something wrong there. But remember, this is dummy data, so it doesn't make much sense anyway. Next, for revenue versus target, I want to have data bars. There we go. So now we can clearly visual by who is hitting it, by how much. We can see SMC smashing it, and we can actually order it. So if I click on revenue versus target, it's going to order it from the highest dollar amount to the lowest dollar amount. Or if I click on the percentage, it's going to order it from the highest percentage to the lowest percentage. So this is very good actually, because you can order the data straight away as you want. Now I want to replicate this, but this time by product. So very easy to do. I'm missing the vertical grid line though. Let me see, grid, vertical. There we go, nice. Now I'm just going to copy this table. So Control and C, Control and V, and I'm going to paste it down here below. I have a lot more space than I need, I think. Over here, I think, and then make this a bit smaller so we don't have to scroll. Nope. Yeah, that's fine. This is going to be my product summary. So instead of segment, I'm going to drag the product, which is going to be a product category over here, just to see which products are meeting target. So as you can see, only services is meeting target. The other two products we are struggling, which is, again, remember, this is dummy data, but you can investigate what's going on, what's going right and what's going wrong. I want to change this now to be a product, the title to be the product category. And there we go. I don't have to change any of the formatting because I have already done it for this table. So this is where Power BI is very good, because if you copy and paste it, you can easily create multiple different breakdowns for different categories with just copying and pasting and changing the fields. Now I can also do all these categories we have by account, by industry, by vertical. But for the sake of this video, as I said, I'm only going to do these two. Right, the last thing we want to do now is to create a scatter plot that investigates the relationship between revenue and marketing spend. So what we need is we go over here in visualizations and we click on scatter chart. We adjust it to be fitting in all the page, and then we want to drag revenue, which is over here, into our x-axis, and then marketing spend, where are you, into our y-axis. We also need to add a field into details, and this field is going to be our distinct ID, because it means I want to plot every single point that we have in our raw data. So as you can see now, we have a very positive relationship, as in the more marketing spend you spend, the more marketing money you spend. So the more marketing goes up, the more revenue you generate. So the more revenue moves to the right side. We can make this look pretty and then add a trend line that shows the relationship. So first of all, I want to go to format and change the title to be revenue versus marketing spend relationship. I want to add the font to be, change it to be black, and then the background color bluey, and then a line in the center, and then the text size to be 14. Again, I'm keeping consistent with every other visual I've done. I want to add the background now to be, no, actually, no, I don't need background, I need border. So remove the background and add the border to be this light green we always use. Check, there we go. We can also make the revenue and marketing spend legends to be a bit larger, so we can actually visualize them. So if I go change the text size to be more and then make it dark, and then I need to do the same for the y-axis, so dark, and then come on, and then make it more. There we go. So now we can actually read it much easier. Now to add a trend line here, we need to go into analytics, and then on the trend line we click add, and then straight away we can visualize the relationship between marketing spend and revenue. Additionally, we can also add multiple different analytical lines. So I like to put the average line. I think it's good to have, so you can see the average spend you have, but not the average revenue. I want the average marketing spend. There we go. We can also add the data label. So there we go. So it should have a number right there, but we can't see it. If I change it to be vertical position, text, I need to be value. Where is it? On the right side. There we go. We can see the value now. And then display auto as it is. That's fine. I can also do the same with the line, the trend line. I cannot, no, I can't add the equation because it's good. Sometimes it's good to see the equation, but it seems like we can't do that. Right. So let's test it now to see if it works. So if I go on the top and I again select banking as industry and I scroll down, we can see everything change, how it looks down here. If I want to check why online products is not doing well, well, they have a very positive relationship. So maybe it's because the target is too much. Again, remember, this is dummy data, so it's not going to make much sense. But anywhere you click now, it's nicely connected and interactive, and it responds to the whole of the dashboard. Another cool thing you can do is that we can actually remove, first let's start by removing the trend lines, because I can't have trend lines to show you what I'm going to do. And then we select banking, again in industry, so we scroll it down. We add the product as a legend, so product category, so we can see the different products. So we can see that the services are doing actually very well. And then we can add the fiscal month into the play axis. And then if we click play now, it goes through the different fiscal months and you can see how the products move over the different months, which is actually very cool. You can even make it like larger, and then it's easier to visualize all of it. Where is it? It's not playing. Oh, there we go. So it's easier to visualize all of it right now. So again, more cool functionality from Power BI. Right. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you've gained enough value out of it. If you feel like you did, please click that like button and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. If you want me to make the same tutorial in Tableau or ClickSense or any other visualization tool, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching.